Can you be a medical doctor without going to med school? Or a lawyer without being called to the bar? But so many filmmakers pick up the cameras to become good directors, producers, writers, actors, without formal education in those disciplines. Is this right? Welcome to Nollywood Roundtable. Welcome. This is a Roundtable. And as usual, when it's on, it's a lot of excitement, it's a lot of argument, it's a lot of discussion, and of course, a lot of contributions, ensuring that we make this industry a much better one. Today, it's going to be film school culture. That's what we'll be discussing. And I have with me on the Roundtable those I will simply tag as gurus. And when you listen to them, you know that these are well-grounded people. I'm going to just go on straight to the issue. You get to meet them one after the other. And Abiola Shobo. When you talk about film school culture, what comes to mind?
Film school culture must basically, in my experience,
okay,
is basically young people that are interested in learning about film. Usually what you have is, you have people that want to be DOP, people that want to be director, people that want, and you usually have to like find...
Okay. What was your experience like? Because you went to a film school. You had the privilege of attending a film school. What was your experience like?
Well, film school for me was just mostly about meeting people and learning the facts of the trade, because you can actually learn yourself. But the thing is that you need as in an authority in terms of like, you know for a fact that this is the way it should be done. For me, that was what film school was about.
Were you better on your way out than you were on your way in?
Definitely.
Emphatically, yes.
Definitely.
Thank you so much. Let me cross to the other side. And that we're asking Jenny.
Okay.
How important is it to be well-grounded in terms of formal training when it comes to filmmaking? How important do you think it is, having a formal training in it?
I think, yeah, there's an element of seriousness that comes with that, you know, as he was saying. For me personally, I didn't attend any film school, you know, so I learned along the way. I picked up a lot of things along the way, you know, and as a filmmaker, I think that, you know, there's some things you don't get to understand or see, you know, the mistakes until you're in post-production and you be like, oh, that audio was wrong, or this was wrong, or there was not too much light, the lighting was too harsh over there and stuff like that. You know, so I feel that there's, you know, an element of, you know, there's going to film school, you know, you're grounded, you know, you have to follow, there's certain rules, you know, there are certain things you need to do, you understand, you know, to achieve, you know, best quality audio, lighting and stuff like that, you know, so yeah.
Okay, Victor, as a writer, producer and director, what's your take on this?
Okay, I'm sort of in the middle of this, kind of, because I did go to film school, but I did kind of drop out of film school. So it's sort of a 50-50. Everybody has, I mean, the gentlemen who have spoken so far have said what I think is the core of it, which is there are certain benefits to formalized training, but there are certain parts of it you will not learn until you learn it on the job, until you make your own mistakes. And again, it's largely personality types. There are some people who thrive on structured timetables, structured training. And there are people who prefer to learn stuff on their own. They work better when they work on their own.
Victor, why did you opt out of a film school?
Why I opted out of film school? It's a reason that I'm not sure matches the topic, but I'm primarily a television practitioner.
Okay.
And a lot of people who go to film school, I won't say, but much like any school, any university, when you filled your jam form, you had an idea of what you thought it was. You got in and you're like, wait, this is not what I thought it was. Shout out to everybody studying agricultural or studying education Yoruba. You know that kind of thing, you feel something, then you get in and you're like, wait, what? So I went to film school, but I'm primarily a TV practitioner. So I got into film school, and the course I went in for was just not compatible with what I wanted to do, so.
I'll honestly tell you this, we almost share the same story. I almost opted out of University of Ife when I went to study drama. In fact, I almost did, because what my picture of what I was going in for was different from what I met initially, until some good guys spoke with me and I went through it, and I'm happy.
I wish I had those good guys. My parents would have been so happy.
I know. I had some good guys who sat me down and spoke with me about it. But that's a story for another day. Coming to Ine.
Hi.
You're obviously the only lady on this round table, but not to worry. Hillary ran a race with all men pack. So tell me, you went to a film school.
I did.
Tell me about your experience there.
I used to be an investment banker, and then I quit my job, and I wanted to do this. I didn't know how, so I'm like, okay, go to film school. So I went to film school.
Wait a minute, did you wake up one day and looked at the mirror and said, Ine, what are you doing in a banking hall?
No. It took so long. It even took so long for me to decide to go. I thought I was crazy, but I guess you can't really deny what you're passionate for. And I went over it for like a year before I decided to quit and then go to film school. So it's something I did. I always wanted to do this, but I just thought it was a little silly, to actually think I could be an actor, really. But eventually, I made up my mind to go, and I went there with a very open heart. I did not know what I would get, and honestly, it changed my life. I know it's not the path everyone has to go through, but for me, words cannot even justify. Apart from the knowledge, I just learned so much. I got to explore different facets of film. I got to take a couple courses in directing, editing, and it made me appreciate from their perspective.
Let me quickly ask you this.
Yeah.
Ide, on your way back, did it help you to get into the industry easier or in whichever way? Did it influence?
I would say what it did was to prepare me. It gave me the skills, and it prepared me for the experience. I was ready because I'd done a couple things. Whether it was class or independently, I'd been on different projects, while I was in school. So it prepared me in some way to what I was about to experience.
So you were equipped to jump into the river even with the sharks in there?
Exactly.
Great. Oliver, from your own perspective, you've been there for quite some time. Yes, as a motion picture entrepreneur, what will be your reaction to this?
Well, I personally didn't attend film school. I would have loved to, but couldn't afford it, so I didn't go. And the next best thing was to get into the industry and start from the bottom and work your way up, which is a very legitimate way of learning. Like Sanchez said, people learn differently. Some people cannot imbibe stuff unless they are in a structured environment, which that structured environment has its own place, because the learning you could have learned in 4 years, they condense it for you, and they make it easier. You have somebody to ask when you are not sure of something. You have supervisors to go to, but when you jump into the sea on your own, you're on your own. And you might make costly mistakes that might kill your dream. If you're not strong enough, you might not be able to overcome those mistakes. But they also come in handy because those mistakes also train you and make you stronger for the future. So I would say there's no one way to get into the industry. Film school is an institutionalized way of getting into the industry. It helps to certify you, so that people can look at you and say, okay, fine, this guy went to so-so film school. We can rate him based on that. But in the absence of that, there are loads of other ways to get into the industry. Film school is not a be-all.
Why use, can I just add this to it?
Yes,
why
please,
use getting into the industry as of, actually achieving a project? Do you understand? I just feel that, I don't look at it like an industry. If I have an idea or I want to shoot a film or make a documentary, I feel it's the end goal, getting into the industry. I think that's a little bit too, in Nigeria, I don't think we have any structure to start with. So I wouldn't want to say I want to get into the industry, or people that want to make movies or tell stories and stuff like that shouldn't be thinking, oh, I'm trying to do this because I want to get into the industry. You should just do it because you actually have a story to tell.
But do you think those who are going to give you such jobs, do you think they take a look at your CV and they want to find out, is he grounded in this field?
Is he qualified?
Is he qualified?
Is he a master? Does he hold a master's degree? It's funny you said that. I was reading a couple of months ago about a company that is now not taking people that have qualifications. That the criteria is quite open to creative people and stuff like that. So there isn't. If they don't, then obviously it's left to you as an individual or as a filmmaker to make your own stories and tell your own stories. You know, we can't all tell stories the same way. If we were told to tell a story about this sitting, for example, you know, I'm sure everybody would pick on different things, maybe about in his hair, you know, about his fingers, or, you know, people will pick on different things, you know. So it's really up to the client, you know, to say, oh, okay, you know, this is what we're actually trying to target, you know. So, you know, we have a lot more creative people that are going to.
Okay, great. Let me go back to Oliver at this point. Of course, you sit on that seat and you hire hands as an entrepreneur. What criteria do you use for such?
For me, most important thing, I don't think I've ever asked anybody, because it's a subconscious policy of mine. I'm not even interested in if you went to film school, you know. So I've never asked anybody if they went to film school. All I want to know is, you know, are you passionate for the job? Have you done anything before? If you have, let me see what you've done. And if you haven't, you know, how can you apply yourself and learn? Because we are in a very young, growing embryonic industry right now. So the industry itself is just beginning to awaken. So there's so many people out there that might not have the experience that, you know, you require. So all I'm interested in is, are they interested in learning? And you find out that there's so, like, a lot of people that work with me have no affiliation to the arts at all.
Okay.
You have people that went and studied law, architects, and things like that. They just come in.
And they still deliver.
And yeah.
Victor, all those great stuffs you don't do them all alone. You need to hire hands to join you and all that. What criteria do you use in recruiting hands?
I mean, it's a 50-50 of what these two gentlemen were talking about. I was trying to review how I was going to hire people for the new project I'm working on. And one of my mentors runs a production company in Canada that have a policy for not hiring film school graduates.
Strictly,
he just does not hire film school graduates, which I thought was insane.
I don't understand.
I can't understand why.
Yeah, I kind of, so that's a weird thing. But I don't know, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody at the table, have you ever been hired because somebody asked to see your CV? No, I don't mean your profile or list of projects. I mean like your educational qualifications.
No,
never.
not really.
It's I mean, it's an old Hollywood joke. You're only as good as your last project.
Okay.
But the thing is, the way I grew up is people I've worked with along the way, and then some people who I've met and have incredible amounts of passion and who are willing and burning to learn. Like you pointed out, I studied pharmacy first of all.
Hello, Agawa.
I studied pharmacy. I didn't finish that either. There's a trend here. But it's a thing where, I mean, you decide what you want to do, and then you follow through. So you find the positions you want to fill, find people who can do it, or you feel you can put the faith in and have the time to guide through it, and that's how you hire.
So it's like you kept running away from, but your passion kept dragging you back. This is the path. Victor, get back on this path, and that's where you should be.
I wish you could explain it to my dad like that.
I hope whatever he gets the message wherever he is right now. Abiola, you seem to agree with the point Victor raised earlier.
Well, I went to film school and everybody have a problem with film school students. I generally have a problem with them. Even when I was in school, I was like, this is set mind. First of all, the biggest issue I have is like when you're in film school, there are certain bunch of films you need to watch. There are a bunch of directors with styles and all sorts of things, and it's so. I feel that sometimes you might set yourself up, and you might not discover yourself because you're in the Scorsese way.
Oh yeah.
Kurosawa shot it. And there's a lot of. They're very big on film school students. Are very big on the shot.
Okay.
The shot, the gear, as in everyone's big on the gear, but film students are big on the gear, a lot. But you know, the thing that I need to clear up is that there are different types of film school students. There are the guys that do the 4-year.
Exactly. What type of film school are we talking?
The guys that do the arts degree, they get a degree.
Okay.
And then the guys that do the short programs, courses, like 1 year. And there are people that do the shorter courses, like 3 weeks.
Okay.
Right?
You did the 1 year thing.
I did the 1 year program. And it was helpful because I think everyone in the Nigerian film industry needs to have some form of education in terms of processing that this is how we do it in the Nigerian industry. Because there's no set way. Anytime I run a production company, anytime I hire someone, I always feel like I have to tell the person that, okay, this is how we do it here. And I'd like to show you how to take the person through each step.
I have a bit of a challenge here, and but let me start with you. You can't be a medical doctor without going to med school. You cannot put on that wig in front of a judge as a lawyer without having been called to the bar. Why is the film industry different? Why is it different? Give it to me. Let me hear.
I mean, we see differently. We're sitting down here. We're all sat here, talking, and if we're to pick out a story, a common story to talk about, we're going to express it in different ways. If we're shooting, our styles, our angles, you might want to focus on the nose, you might want to focus on the hair and stuff like that. It's what takes your fancy. So we're seeing different things,
But so lawyers see different things.
It's a form of expression.
But you're affecting the psyche of millions out there.
It's funny you're saying that.
I just want to know.
Can I bring something? I'm not sure whether it's part of this conversation. I have an issue with Nigerian film, Nigerian Nollywood in general. Because, for example, my kids, our family, they're not allowed to watch certain TV stations on there, because there's this storytelling style. Do you understand? Like husband meets wife, wife is cheating or stuff, and then they go to this juju man and stuff. There's this thing that's been going on for so long in Nigerian culture. And I feel that, people don't get to tell stories of independent or hardworking women or successful women or successful men, that I have an issue with.
I'll take that. I'll take that when we come back from this break, because we just listened to words from a documentary filmmaker, yes, a documentary specialist now, with expressing his reservations about certain things in Nollywood. Do you agree? Not to worry. I'm going to ask others when we come back. We'll take a break now. Please don't go nowhere. Welcome back. It's so nice to know that you're still out there watching, and it's still Nollywood Roundtable. Before we went on that break, Ini was itching to agree with what Ginny said. I like it. Ini agreed with Ginny. Yes, Ini?
I mean, talking about whether you need formal education or not, for an actor, I'll only speak from an actor's perspective because that's what I know. I feel like any talented, tenacious, and if you impress the right people, you can be successful in this business. But for me, Ini Dimaokoje, going to film school helped.
Right.
I didn't go for 2 years. I wish I did. I wish I had that time or maybe the money. But I did go for a couple short courses, and I just came back from 1-3.
I'm actually interested in that. I'm interested in your New York trip.
The LA trip. Okay, so that was, it was called the Hollywood in Focus Initiative, and they took a couple creatives from the entire continent and took us to LA. And we're there for 3 weeks, and I went for the intensive acting workshop. And honestly, I wasn't sure what I was going to gain from another 3-week workshop, but it truly changed my life. It made me a better human being and an actor. Apart from the knowledge.
Are you sure it's not just getting out of Nigeria?
Well, that too. Lagos has been stressful. But seriously, there was just, I don't know, when you talk about structure and being, it didn't even feel like, it doesn't feel so guarded to me. I don't know, being in the classroom. It was very freeing almost. And for me as an actor, there's a lot of fear from the responsibility of being an actor. I don't know if you guys experience this as writers and directors, but it helped me conquer that. And I did not expect to go to LA and conquer that.
So you were able to excel, kind of?
Yes. So I don't know, it just has such a freeing, it's such a freeing
I'll tell you, I've got a better Ini right here.
I would tell anyone to do it.
That's lovely, that's lovely. But while that was going on, Victor had reservations, or he needed to make some clarifications from his own perspective about this medical, to be a medical doctor, you have to go to med school. To be a lawyer, you have to be called to the bar. Victor, what's because I have to hold you back.
I just want to be clear. I just want to make it clear because we've said some things, but it seems like we understand what we mean, but it may not have been spelled out exactly.
Spell it out.
Not going to film school doesn't mean not being educated.
Exactly.
It's not getting a formalized education. Anybody who picked up a camera and made something, studied something. Either you read stuff on the internet, you went out and did it by trial and error, but you educate yourself to the point where you can do it. Now, I'm agreeing with your earlier point, I'm not really agreeing, I'm addressing your earlier points when you said, if you want to be a medical doctor, you have to go to med school. So yeah, if you want to make films. You will make a few crappy ones to start with, then you will get better. Yeah. It's as simple as that. Because there's a myth now that it just feels like, oh, these guys didn't go to film school, so I'm just going to watch 2 tutorials on YouTube, make one film, and I'm going to be a big star. It's not going to happen. But because I'm a showrunner, I staff writers' rooms. That's what I do. And one of the things I do. And I'm staffing, every time I'm staffing writers' room, I have to read about maybe 20 to 40 scripts a month. And it's ridiculous. It's some people who just feel like, oh, I've seen 6 seasons of Grey's Anatomy. Give me the scalpel, I'll do surgery. That's nuts. So screenwriting, yes, you don't need a formalized degree. That's great. I'm not going to ask you for a degree. I'm going to ask you for your writing sample, though.
Can I
If the
just...
writing sample isn't great,
I have to ask him something because he's a writer. You know,
Please go on.
how do you feel about the scripts in Nollywood? Do you understand? Do we have anything? I'm not going to even mention names of some big productions. You know that they made so much noise about Nigeria.
Yeah.
You know, but how do you feel about Nigerian storytelling?
I feel largely the same way about Nigerian storytelling as I feel about American storytelling. We were talking just now about Batman vs Superman. That script
Crappy.
sucks.
Yes.
The film made a lot
bad.
of money. The question is this: no writer, by the dint of what he typed on his laptop, is going to get a film made.
Okay.
There are very few writers who even have that clout in the world. Let's not talk about Nigeria. So you are going to write something on commission. It's what your producer wants to happen. And if
But
the producers want to tell certain types of stories, the writers who want to make a daily living are going to try and have to do what the producer wanted them.
All right,
Until
so
you
should
earn your
they,
own clout.
should
Sorry,
they- you mentioned something earlier,
Yes,
you know,
yes,
before we
Jenny.
went on break, you know,
Yes,
and it's
Jenny.
about, you know, the type of movies and the type of stories that
we
we're
tell.
getting out into
Yeah, yeah.
society.
So-
Okay.
I'm a little bit more concerned
No,
about
I'm agreeing
that.
with you. Yes, we can tell a lot. There is massive room for improvement in the type of stories we tell, of course. What I'm talking about is the limitations right now that cause what you were addressing, where everything seems to be following sort of template. But I mean,
Yeah, go
it
to the
happens
witch and go to the
everywhere.
wizard and go
in the
get
US,
some-
comic
do you
book
understand? I
movies,
don't get it.
everybody's making comic book movies. We, the true geeks, have been crying for comic book movies. Years ago, they were all crappy. And then one guy does it right, and everybody's like, right, comic book movies. That's all we're doing now. Everything has phases, and our phase has lasted pretty long. True.
It's still going to last long.
It's going to last longer, but it's,
Okay,
it's
Victor.
an industry-wide thing. It's not just...
Victor ringing a bit of the alarm bell there, but it is okay. Oliver, are we telling our stories from what you've just heard? Are those stories not our stories? And do you agree with Ginny?
Yeah, we're telling our stories. Ginny might not be too happy with the execution of those stories. That's another thing altogether.
Yeah.
But those stories come out of a certain culture, come out of a certain socio-economic, socio-cultural milieu. So they are not dropping from the sky. They are written by Nigerians about Nigerian experiences for a Nigerian audience. And they connect to that audience. There's a reason why these stories connect, in spite of how much we bash them and how we say they're not technically sound and all of that. But they connect. And that's because they are true to our reality. You know, but once again, to support Ginny,
It's more
there are certain
elements
issues.
of our reality.
Yeah,
You
it's
understand?
more,
Not
but,
like it's
but
like
well, there's the larger reality of obviously. But even if you take Hollywood as an example, like he said, Hollywood, I mean, the whole of American reality is not just cops shooting people and all of that, but that's all we are hearing right now on the news. Do you get? So you can't have the whole of your reality thrust on you at any given time. There's some segment that the light will shine upon, and for a while that segment will be, put out there until the light moves to another
But
segment.
he's
So for
saying
now,
that's
That's the
content,
only-
that story has been told and it's still being told.
and then you have to ask yourself, why is that so?
maybe I should just
have
do
a
my
question.
one. Do you understand? And I agree with that. Maybe I should now sit up and say, okay, you know what? I'm shooting a movie.
Jenny, let me quickly ask you this. You've got reservations about your children, for instance, are watching certain channels. and
Doesn't
certain
stop
movies.
them.
No, but you have reservations about that.
Right.
Do you stop them from watching these foreign movies as well? I have a follow-up to that question, but I need you to quickly answer that.
Well, not really. Not exactly. No.
Okay. Now, why I'm asking you is, do you think more of practitioners attending film schools would make things better, would make you feel a bit more relaxed in these no-go areas?
No, I don't think that people that attend film schools are responsible for writing the script, or telling a particular type of story or passing a message or a moral on. And I think people that go to film school, I mean, from what I know, I think they're a little bit more technical, like they go by the book. you know, like, okay, let's light him from the back and let's do this and do that and let's get him mic'd properly. I think filmmaking, you know, as a director is a personal thing. It's an expression thing, you know. So you don't really have to go to film school to get that structure in telling the right stories.
Abiola, sending your child or asking someone to go to a film school, is it likely to make you bankrupt in terms of fees? And are we saying that there are no film schools here in Nigeria that you can point at and easily say, go ahead and do that and be part of it?
Okay, in terms of going back to that, I wouldn't know, because I went like 6 to 8 years ago, and things are different then in terms of the currency and everything. So, and I don't know what the rates are right now. But
we all know. We know that. We all know.
I think it's expensive. It depends on the school you're going to, really. It depends on the school you're going to. There are the really good schools, like, what's the name of this? The New York NYU. That's a really good school. It's expensive. If you go to NYFA, it's relatively cheap.
On the average, how much would that cost?
It's cheaper. Let me say. Sorry. It's cheaper. It's cheaper. And there are other film schools that are cheaper too, and they're kind of good. Depending on, and it's also dependent on the facilitators that you meet there. Because the film school I went to had, I worked with Norman Schwartz. He actually worked in Hollywood and actually had a lot of experience in doing stuff. And I worked with Savas. He was a DP and did a lot of different films in Hollywood. So I was lucky.
How much are we talking about here? I love figures when it comes to this, to this
figures,
point.
Roughly last time I checked, it was $30,000 for a year.
Yeah, for a year.
Did you say 30?
For a year, but that was back then. $30,000, not $30,000 is now.
Exactly.
Let me come back to the investment banker. The former investment banker. Would you write a check for that? Now.
30,000.
I mean, with what they are paying us as actors these days, but I mean, yeah, it would set you back, but I would definitely do it for my child if that's what they want to do.
Oh,
Victor, yes.
If you are applying, I was going to tell everybody, if you are applying, make sure you apply for a student discounts.
Yeah.
Because apparently I was one of the only people that I didn't know till the end.
You didn't know.
Half of the people there were like paying like half the price. I found out at the end. So I was kind of lucky at the end. I just found out at the end. So usually they always give people like just cut.
Now
cut
wait a minute. Wait a minute. Are there no film schools in Nigeria?
No.
That you can easily say.
I'm sorry, I don't think so.
I don't
Because
think so.
in my experience, I actually went to a film school here first for a few months, and I stopped going. There was a course. I was trying to when I was trying to start learning production. I went to a film school here. I won't mention any names, and they even brought in a facilitator from India and everything, and we were in it we even shot our first projects and everything. When I go to film school in Abu Dhabi, the first class, everything they told me in that school was wrong. Everything was like wrong, but they didn't tell me things like, as in like, you know, like the popular crossing the line, you don't cross the line and all that. I didn't even learn any of that stuff at all here, and I'm like, why? As in like, and you hear a lot of people going to school. And there's some good schools. There's some good schools in Nigeria. Okay, there's some good schools. I've met some film students from the one in Jos.
NFI, I think.
Great. DOPs. They have great DOPs.
Great
They're
DOPs,
like,
actually.
they're like great DOPs. I've not met any of their directors, but they have great DOPs and they're doing a lot of good stuff. But in terms of directing, I feel that there are people that are natural directors. That you just understand it. You just know what you're doing. But for someone like me, I just feel that I need to know, why am I doing it this way? I need to know, because you feel you're doing the right thing. You feel that you're communicating with your actor, or you're trying to give your actor good direction. But meanwhile, you're just yanning. You're just talking. You're not. I'll
tell you this on this table. I majored in film at Ife, University of Ife. I've been producing. I've been directing for God knows how long. But if there is one yearning that I have, if there is something I'm craving for, is to go back to a film school and major in directing. Is somebody on this table going to stop me?
No, I won't stop you.
Well, you need to advise me not to go.
No, I won't stop you.
Well, things have really changed. You know, the truth is that things have changed. One of the best directors in the world just did a short course. I think Tarantino didn't really go to film school.
He dropped out.
He's one of the best directors in the world.
Go ahead.
So
I think it's a
No,
personal
I think
thing, so.
another thing we are doing here, we are limiting film schools to just directors.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, we are not. Seriously, we are not.
The camera operators,
That's
Even on
the
this
tone.
table.
That's the tone of the discussion. It's all about expression, and
Okay, alright.
and if we focus in that direction, then it's very clear that you do not need even training to express yourself. There are directors that have not had a day of training. They stepped onto set, they knew what they wanted to do, and they found a way to walk through it and get it done. That's aside. But then there's a whole other aspect of the industry. You know, the technical aspects, there's script writing, there's camera, there's sound. All these things, you can't just pick up a sound equipment and know what to do with it. Somebody needs to teach you. Now, does that person have to be a film school professor? No. There are different types of craft schools, trade schools where you can learn these things. So there are different types of forms of training, not necessarily film school. You know, so and there's this idea that if you don't go to film school, you can't. But then you can go to TV college, you can go to media school, you can do craft training, all these things. You can do that across board.
The problem I have is that, yes, that's fine, but I feel that everyone should be teaching the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the industry has a standard. There's no standard.
When you say there's no standard, there's a standard for how you record sound.
I guess Victor
There's no two ways
objected to
of recording
we had a bit
sound.
of reservations about creating stand.
For a standard, I don't really think there's a standard for recording sound.
No.
Do you agree with that? Sorry. Do you agree with what you just said,
The fact
Victor?
that standardized,
From your creative perspective.
I'm sure the industry would benefit if we got to a point where everyone was clear on how things were done.
Okay, now I need to move you on to the aspect of internship.
Awesome question.
The same thing that I did at IFE, I was the best in my class. I had an A. But I needed to learn. And you know, you feel there's still a gap somewhere. You feel there's still so much to learn. You know, I'm talking about years ago. Yeah. I don't want to tell you when I left IFE, frankly, on this table. But the truth is, you still feel there's still so much to learn. Now, tell me about internship.
Before I got in.
Sorry, tell me.
Before I got into IFE, he had left.
Now, tell me, Gini,
Sorry.
we're talking about internship. What is your perspective about this?
For me, I have a lot of intern. You know, sometimes, you know, I get so aggressive on set, like, you know what, you need to go. You know, because
As in, you need to go.
You need to go, yeah. Because a lot of times, you know, when people, you know, just like with every other industry we have in Nigeria, either it's in the music industry or in film or, you know, anything creative, you know, people, you know, there aren't enough educational outlets to teach people from a younger age that, you know what, you can actually go to drama school for the rest of your life. You know, so when people come on sets at 30 and they're thinking, oh, okay, you know what, I want to be a director. And I'm like, okay, you want to be a director? Okay, so we hang out for a day and you kind of begin to realize that, you know, a lot of people just want to do stuff because other people are doing it. There's no real passion for it. You know, so sometimes I have to let them go. You know, so, but I feel that, yeah, if people really want to learn, you know, you can tell from day one when someone walks into your studio that, you know what, this person is really passionate about what you're doing, about filming, about anything in production.
I don't know why I keep taking this break after you've spoken, but I may have to do it one more time. Yes, it's still Nollywood Roundtable. We'll need to take a break now. When we come back, still a lot more to discuss. It's about film school culture. We'll be right back. Yes, welcome back. It's still Nollywood Roundtable. We're discussing film school culture. And Ginny actually was handling the issue of internship. While we were on break, some issues came up. Experiences came up about internship. I'll just take quick ones now. Victor, how's it been when it comes to internship with you? How would you rather have it? Somebody being introduced to you or person walking up to you?
I'd rather, personal preference, I'd rather have someone walk up to me. But at the same time, I'm aware that I have sort of a reputation as not being the most approachable guy in the world. But I'm a huge fan of apprenticeship, which is what internship is kind of a form of. But I'm a huge fan of, you're interested in that industry, go closer, find how you can fit in, even if it's unpaid work. Or I've had people who say they want to be interns, and I say show up at the studio on Monday, and the first thing they ask me is they send me a text on Sunday night and say, how much does it pay? That's happened to me a couple of times.
Oh, yeah.
And that makes no sense to me. Whether I was going to pay you or not, it's an opportunity that if you were really interested, there's many things I can teach you. I can give you tutorials. I can give you experience. I can expose you. I can talk to you about stuff. I can't give you drive.
Yeah.
That one I can't give you. So I've had some interns who didn't have drive, and I've had some interns whose drive, to be really fair, whose drive inspired me. And I remembered, oh yeah, you've been in this so long, you're getting jaded. This is how passionate you were in the beginning. So I'm a huge fan of internships.
Okay.
And yes, you meet some great interns, and you meet some who are not so
Okay,
good.
now let's come back. Let's come back to you quickly, and I'm talking about. Do you see internship as an option for formal film school training?
I'm a product of apprenticeship. I have a degree in literature. I studied literature from OAU, but I knew I wanted to do film. There was just no formal opportunities to do it. So I interned with Mr. Lloyd Weaver. I spent quite some time with him.
The great Lloyd Weaver.
Started as a production assistant, and then worked my way to start directing. And you know what? There's some things he explained to me then. He said, look, you have to have something you want to say.
Yeah.
First of all, if you want to be a filmmaker, you have to have something you want to say. Everything else is extra. So there's no point going to film school if you don't have that drive to express anything. I'm talking strictly now as a director, filmmaker, not maybe a sound person, or just as a director. You have to have something you want to express, and you have to be able to discover that thing. Now, what film school does for you is that it puts you in a formalized, institutionalized setting that helps you. You know, they take you through courses that help you, make it easier for you to discover yourself and discover that voice and what kind of films you want to make, which is great. But if you can't afford that, life itself helps you do that as a filmmaker. It might take a bit longer, but then the moment you start to make films, the moment you start to work with filmmakers and start to watch films, because Weaver advised me to to watch films a lot, read about the greats, read about the masters, and then you start to see trends that, you know, that might resonate with you and things that you want to do. So for me, there's no one size fits all.
Yeah.
You know, it depends on who you are and where you're coming from.
Okay. Ine,
Yes.
have you had to go through this route in any form in terms of internship?
No, I haven't. So I went to film school, and then I was thrown into, the deep end. So I came and then I started working. In
the process of your training, were you sent on attachment to certain institutions or professionals?
Actually, no.
Okay.
No, we weren't. What we did is we got to work with other colleagues, like the directors, those that were in for directing and writing. We partnered with them, and then we shot a short film.
Okay.
So we'll do things like that every now and then.
Okay, at least you needed to work with other professionals.
So we needed to, exactly.
Oh, okay.
So
not necessarily just your colleagues, other professionals.
Exactly.
In the industry today, you have one person being the writer, he's a producer, he's a director. Maybe the post, he handles the post-production as well. How does this affect the industry, or do you think a formal training in filming or filmmaking would frown at this?
I don't think it would. But here's my thing. Again, there's always this thing where things are, in Nigeria we do this. A lot of things, the problems we have, if we're talking creatively, happen everywhere. J.J. Abrams composed the theme music for Lost. Is anybody saying he's doing too much? He edits, he writes, he directs, he produces. The question is, are they doing it well?
Exactly.
Now, for instance, I always find it hard to write down when they ask what you do. Because I'm going to write writer, producer, director. And I don't think anyone is less important than the other. But I'm a TV practitioner, and what I specialize in is I'm a showrunner. But 3 years ago, that term was not even being said in TV circles around here. It's not about having multiple disciplines. It's the reason why. If you went into it because you didn't have the money to hire people and you felt, I did editing, it's not hard, I will just do it by myself. That sort of thing, that's a different thing than if naturally it's your bent towards that direction. So I don't know of any, guys who are at the film school, help me out here. I don't know if they formal education would frown on having
No, I
multiple
think-
disciplines.
I think it's even
the question is, you know what I mean?
good
The
films,
question
as
is,
many-
like, I don't
question
think people
is-
do it. There have been good films where
Yeah.
director, writer, scriptwriter.
wear as many hats as you want if you can do it well.
Well,
I
think
need
that's
I
true.
need this to come from Ine because I can tell you your professors are watching at this point. Did your training in acting at the film school leave room for you to become a producer or a director
Let me even
or
tell
a
you.
writer? Ine, tell me.
The workshop I just got back from, they made me write. A day before, they tell you have to write a monologue and you have to present it the next day. I'm like, what? I'm not a writer, I'm just an actor. Not just, but I mean, and that was, so they throw you into the deep end because sometimes you're going to have to do this. They made me pitch a script. I'm like, I don't want to make a movie, I just want to act in one for now. But they made you do that. So no, they're actually pro what he's talking about. You can wear as many hats as you can.
Okay, Jide, you didn't wake up one day to decide that you were going to concentrate your effort on documentary filmmaking.
Actually, no. I had kind of a. I'm not. Well, I might as well just say I had kind of a very funny experience. I lived in New York for a while, and then obviously I started this film thing in adult filmmaking. I was a gaffer. And then I now moved into, I used to watch the director telling these people what to do. And then
Did you
I was-
mention adult filmmaking?
Help me.
I thought I didn't want to miss that.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Oh, okay, great.
And then
You finished. What was the experience like?
I mean, very distracting. Very distracting.
That's the word right there.
So I used to look. I looked at the director and I was like, I actually like what he was saying. Maybe it's like kind of my ego thing where I like to tell you what to do and stuff. So that's how I actually got into directing. So documentary telling. So when after living in New York for so long, I started working with some other companies. Got out of that industry, and then, I realized that, there are a lot of other stories that I want to tell, and I, as I said earlier, watching TV, and I'm like, well, I'm not communicating, I'm not getting what they're trying to do. Do you understand? So I started, I met up with a couple of pastors, when I came back to Nigeria, coincidentally,
A couple of what?
well, some pastors, I had to now start telling corporate social responsibility
Maybe
documentaries.
Coming from your background.
The background. Yeah, it was, you said something, how was that? Obviously very distracting, not a clean environment, you meet a lot of people, and it's not something, people, when you're younger, yeah, it seems fun, but obviously as I got older, and then I came back to Nigeria, and then I was like, I need a pastor. And then the pastor was like, you know what? Yeah, we want to tell stories about some less privileged people and stuff. And so that's actually how I started doing documentaries, making documentaries, in Nigeria. And I've been doing documentaries now in Nigeria for about 10 years.
Ine,
That's a great story.
Ine, I'm coming back to you. After listening to that lovely story, cast your mind back to your training at the film school.
Yes.
Were there periods when somebody told you, don't do that, don't get involved with those adult films and all that? You know what I'm talking about, Ine. Were there moments where were cautions thrown to you
While
in the
film
process of your
school,
training while in film school?
we definitely talk about.
What does that mean?
I mean, no, they were very encouraging.
They asked you that you could
No, we
go
didn't.
all the way.
No,
Why do you keep pointing like this?
Pastors have been involved.
Ine will finish, then Ginny will follow.
Okay.
Right.
I mean,
As
there was-
part of your training.
no, we didn't focus on that, honestly.
No,
but
I'm
I'm
not
sure.
focusing. Was it listed as a no-go area?
No, it wasn't.
Okay, so if you read a script
Good.
and you had to act, a kissing scene with a fat, ugly man, do you get what I'm saying? How as an actress, would you get into it immediately?
Absolutely. That's the
the
story.
art.
If
It's
it's
art.
a
It's the
script
art.
I love, and
Right.
that
A
is
follow
part
up
of
to
the
that,
story.
if
Absolutely.
you read a
personal
script
decision.
and it says go NUDE,
No, that's. I feel like.
If they pay you a little bit more money or a lot of
Well,
more,
I can only speak.
I am going to protect Ine here. No, Ine, I'm protecting Ine here.
Can I say
I'm
something about
protecting
that?
Ine
Can I say
here.
something about
Yes,
that? I
sir.
feel that it depends on the actor and the actor's process
Exactly.
personally. Because an actor, I watched, there's a film, I can't remember what film, there's a film I watched. And well, I was reading about the director. And the director was talking about, he had to put a lot of sex scenes in the film because he needed to depict how real, he needed to depict that world. That without sex, it's not that world that you're looking at. So he had to put a lot of sex scenes into it. So I think beforehand, when you get the script, you already know the director's vision. The director is telling you that, okay, see, there's going to be a lot of nudity, there's going to be a lot of this. And it's a personal decision.
And if you're comfortable,
and if you're comfortable with it.
And if
Are you
not,
down or are you not?
And hopefully you need a pastor after that. Victor, this pops up the issue of mentorship, and I'm going to ask Oliver to also share in this. How important is the aspect of mentorship?
Well, I think it's...
We're looking at things that go along film school culture, things that go as options and all that within our setting.
Mentorship for me, mentorship is perhaps the reason I'm here, which is why I make it a thing to make sure I always have interns. I couldn't afford film school. I started writing, I learned all I needed to do by carrying diskettes to cyber cafes. I'm like, oh my God, I filled the whole diskette with scripts and books I downloaded illegally. Sorry guys who I downloaded your books illegally. But at the same time, it was like a disk 1.4 MB, and we're like, oh my God, it's full. You know, the thing. That's how I learned, sort of in isolation. I had this thing where I was sort of out of the business for a while. Here's how weird it was. I was first in another industry entirely. I was in the music business for quite a while. So it was really weird. And we met a very long time ago, but we'll have a discussion afterward. So it was really, but it was really bizarre.
You'll find out.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But it was really bizarre.
I hope
So
not
what was-
from the...
No, not from that.
Not from that. We didn't need okay, but we also needed pastors. But what it was because what I'm saying is this: I was in one whole other industry.
Yeah.
Then I was solo, and I dropped out of school. And there was this thing on Kanye West's album back then, where they were asking, because he brought a type of sound to hip hop that people kept saying, "Aren't you afraid somebody will bite your style?" And he was like, "I spent 2 years doing nothing but making 5 beats a day. If you've done that, you have the right to bite my style. If you haven't put in that level of work, you cannot bite my style." Which is sort of the work ethic that I did. I mean, when I dropped out of school, it wasn't like, that's why I'm saying you can educate yourself or try to educate. I spent 3 years doing nothing but writing. I went online and found mentors, people who I have no reason, I still don't understand why they talk to me till this day. I found somebody who worked at HBO, who was a reader for HBO. And the person first refused to believe I was in Nigeria, because this person didn't believe we had internet in Nigeria. This is like 2001. Stuff like that. Do you understand what I mean? Right. But it's, if you really want to do this and you put everything behind it, and then a couple of people here in Nigeria, Ruke Mata, Freda Mata, Yinka Ogun, these were people, my first meeting with Yinka was funny. I had been writing scripts in isolation. I had never been in the industry or the business of it. And he walks up to me and says, "I saw your writing sample." Like, bros, cool. He's like, "Yeah, I'm staffing up a writing team. How long does it take you to write an episode?" And I was in that film school state of mind where I was reading about film schools because I used to send for prospectus. What's the plural of prospectus? Prospectus. I used to send a bunch of them. I used to get a lot of them. I knew I couldn't afford, but I used to just send for, right? And here's the thing. I said it takes me a month to write a 30-minute episode. And he laughed. Like Oliver's laughing right now. He laughed and said, "I'll teach you how to do it in 2 days." And I'm like, hold on. And I'm like, so that might turn to laugh like, look at this one. Because I didn't know the business now.
Okay, great.
But
without
isn't that
that,
based on the industry here?
No,
Anywhere.
anywhere. Listen, anywhere. When it comes to
for
any
TV.
season for a sitcom, even in
Yeah.
Culver City, you are going to turn over in 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sorry, I just need to know something. But don't you? But character development and all that.
No,
is
that's
done
that's
way
way
separate,
ahead,
exactly.
right?
before.
So you can always just know.
Wait,
okay,
you're just
so
like- you're just like-
They plug you in.
You're just like,
Yeah.
Plug and play.
Well, my point is this. Here's
And
my point.
then-
Here's my point.
I
You brought me
need
to what the industry did.
Okay.
And then you can change it if you want to.
Okay, Victor. Okay,
Writer
Victor.
is actually-
Oliver, coming to you. The issue of mentorship. How important is this?
Very important. Without that, I wouldn't be here in the industry to start with. Like Victor, I studied literature in school, and I did a bit of drama, just hanging out with the drama guys and all of that. But I didn't study drama at all. But I knew this is what I wanted to do, and there was just no way I could get any kind of formal training. There was no NFI there. There was nothing like film school in Nigeria to start with, and so I found Mr. Weaver and I approached him and I said, "This is what I wanted to do," and he said, "Look, if you want to do this thing, then, you know, I'm open to it. Come and join me." And I joined him straight up, and that was it. So having worked with him, learned so much from him. When I started out on my own, it was just like a natural progression that people would come and I would just let them in. There was a time when I was single, my house was always full. I would come home and people would be sleeping in my room. And I'll just have to sleep on the couch because I just took people in. And a lot of those people have gone on to do very big things today in the industry. So it's very important for us, especially at the stage of our industry right now where it's still just growing. So I believe that you owe it a duty to mentor those coming behind. We shouldn't run away from that.
Ini. After G, I've got Ini. You believe in mentorship, don't you?
Of course.
Did you have to go through certain mentors, or do you still have mentors?
I mean, there are a lot of people I look up to. Yeah, and I'm very grateful that they're there. Anytime I have questions, they're always there to answer me because there's so much to learn, and it's very fulfilling to have someone to call. Bibi Sachere, he's a director. He's amazing. He's always there to answer any question I have. For acting, guys in acting, Nee, oh my God, Nee, I forget his last name now. He's a director as well. Uncle Nee, I just call him Uncle Niji.
Akimolaya, right?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Niji.
Niji Akoni.
Oh, Niji Akoni.
Yes.
Talking about Niji Akoni.
Yes, he's always there for me. Remy Ogunpitan.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are people that.
All I can promise you is that call me anytime from today. I'll answer.
And I would. Yeah, you said it here. Everybody
I
heard
just said
it.
that. Yes.
In terms of mentorship, I really believe it's very important. I think I only have one mentor, and that was my first producer because she's a perfectionist in everything she does.
And what's her name?
Her name is Isioma Ahi.
Okay.
She's a perfectionist.
Abiola, finally, let me ask you this. You were working in this environment before you went to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
And after all that you inculcated there, after all you got there and all that, was it difficult fitting back into this environment?
The Nigerian industry is very open to a lot of people. And I still think all those things are not really, really important. It's what you bring to the table that is important here. It's what you bring to the table and what's important. So if what you're bringing to the table is that you have enough knowledge, everyone gets to learn from it. So fitting into the industry was not difficult at all.
Ginny, you had that exposure out there in America. Coming back in here, was it difficult taking off?
It wasn't a difficult thing, you know. I just started doing it, and then I got into it. I did it. Someone liked it, and somebody else liked it, and then I got another call, referrals, and then I'm here today.
And hopefully you will feel more relaxed as we go on in this industry to allow your children to see the stuffs and all that we do. But ironically, it's after you, Ginny, that I'm rounding this off. Okay. So I want to thank you, gentlemen, and of course, my charming Ine here. Thank you for being part of this wonderful discussion. I sincerely hope everybody out there, you've picked up some of these bits. We are all working towards one direction, and that is making our industry, the Nollywood industry, a better one. I've got to thank you, Abiola, Victor, thank you, Ini, a big thank you to you. Of course, Oliver, thank you, and Ginny.
Thank you.
Big thank you to you all. We'll be back with another topic some other time, very soon. Bye for now.